come out swinging in the 12th. Might be Dodson who needs the knockout, though, I think. Just looking at the scorecards. You hear the comments from both corners. Both corners imploring their boxers to go out and give it everything. I must admit, given Dodson's relatively negative attitude through the fight, if he's going to be resigned to losing this one, let's see. Smith just knows that he has to be on his bike here and stay out of trouble. 6 rounds up on Colin Hart's scorecard.
Well, it's the points, and 2 points for 1 round, don't forget.
Well, the ringside judges are the ones that count. It's hard to see. It might be closer than 6, but it's hard to see them having Dodson winning. Never really had a period of domination in the fight. His best shot was the uppercut that Smith took pretty well. Good little left hand there from Smith. Follows up with the right. As this round, remember that Dodson unravelled in against Tony Quigley. It may not be pretty, but at the moment Paul Smith is getting the job done.
No, it's far from pretty. It is, it's pretty ugly. You think there were a couple of octopuses, I don't know, they seem to have 4 or 5 arms each.
And suddenly they stand up and fight. The crowd are on their feet.
No, it's a good finish anyway.
It's the kind of scrap you'd see outside a nightclub a bit later on.
Yeah. Probably with more class.
Good body shots there from Smith. Follows up with a left hand as well, but now they wrestle again. Uppercut 2 from Paul Smith. He's the one who's been doing the work, being positive as much as he can. It'll probably be Paul Smith who has his arm raised when the scores come in. Now Dodson catches him with 2 left hands and an uppercut 2. Good finish this from the challenger. Back comes Smith though with a right hand.
The best round of the fight.
And it's been a good one. Smith with a body shot. That's because they've actually boxed each other, Colin.
Yeah, it's best round.
Dodson's had to be more positive as well. Back comes Smith as Dodson throws 2 shots and the bell goes. They both think they've won it. We'll have to go to the judges to find out who has.
Well, I may be way off beam here, but I made Smith a runaway winner. 117, 110, but I'm sure probably the judges got it very much closer. But it wasn't easy to score, to be fair, to all the people who had to score it.
Well, the story of the opening 6 rounds were the 2 cuts on, one on Paul Smith's left eyelid, and then the other on his forehead. And looked at one point as if the fight would have to be stopped. The bleeding was so heavy. In the second half, they almost disappeared, really, and then had that barnstorming last round.
Yeah, the last round was the best round of the fight for me.
It wasn't the easiest fight to watch. I don't know if it will go in too many people's classic fight collections.
You wouldn't want to sit through another run of, excuse me, a run through of that one.
But has Paul Smith done enough? The consensus is that he probably has. He's the reigning British super middleweight champion. Will that title be going home to the Smith household this evening? Well, back with Dodson. Whatever happens, it will stay in Liverpool.
Looking at referee Edwards' shirt reminds me of Mike Jacobs years ago, whose shirt was in a similar state.
Well, here's the result.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds, we go to the scorecard. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Howard Foster scores the contest 116-111. Marcus McDonald scores the contest 115-112. Victor Laughlin scores the contest 117-112. The winner, and still the British super middleweight champion in the blue corner from Liverpool, Paul Smith.
Well, two of the judges weren't quite as generous as myself, but they made Smith a very comfortable winner indeed. But it was not a fight to remember, as we've said. It was very messy, very ugly, and but at the end of the day, Smith overcame these dreadful cuts to triumph, and one must give credit to him and to his corner for getting him through this 12 rounds.
Oh, not the prettiest fight to watch, but a case of getting the job done for Paul Smith. It is another notch on the Lonsdale belt. Just 2 fights away now from that British title outright. And he's now beaten 2 of his closest rivals in Liverpool, Tony Quigley in October and Tony Dodson this evening. A quick reminder of those scores: 116, 111, 115, 112, and 117, 112. Remember, Dodson had a point deducted as well, I think in the 11th round, and maybe in the 10th actually. And Paul Smith, congratulations, a successful defence of your British super middleweight title, but it was a tough night in there.
Yeah. I think I've learned my lesson in the past. I'm getting more strong mentally, and I'm getting a lot more, mentally tougher. Where I know when I get cut, I'm not going to switch off and go down in the dumps and, have my head elsewhere. It's happened a few too many times now, so I'm pleased with keeping mentally switched on and just digging, grinding a result out.
Well, it certainly was a case of grinding out. It wasn't the easiest fight to watch this side of the ropes. How frustrating did you find it in there with Dodson? He's quite negative, wasn't he?
Yeah, a lot. I think his last 2 fights, or his last fight, he got stopped, he got knocked out, or TKO. The fight against Froch, he got stopped. He's been stopped 4 times now, and I think he knows his punch resistance isn't the best in the world. But so maybe, I know that after I've been put down in a fight. It took me about 3 or 4 fights to get more confidence back in my chin. And I know Dodson's a big puncher, and I had full confidence in my chin tonight. But it's all about keeping mentally switched on, and I've been seeing someone for that to help me out with being mentally strong, because the mind's a muscle as well. You've got to be mentally prepared. All the Olympic teams have mental coaches and psychologists and sports psychologists and everything else. So why shouldn't we use it ourselves?
How bad were the cuts? We can see a bit of blood trickling down.
Pretty bad, yeah. But I have the best in the country, in my opinion, in my corner, and that's why I have him all the time. And I'm lucky I've got a good relationship with him from when I was up in the gym in Manchester with Billy Graham, because he works with all the fighters. But he is the best, I feel. No disrespect to all the other cutsmen, I think he is the best in the country.
Was there a time when you thought the fight might not go the distance?
Yeah, definitely. From round 3 onwards, I thought it. And then round about the 7th, I thought, he's going to let me go here. So I got, started switching it back on again and get stuck in.
And funnily enough, the cuts seemed to get a bit better after the 7th round.
Yeah, they did. I think all the adrenaline sort of going in and staying in and slowing the blood flow down. That's probably what it is. I'm not an expert, but it should be the amount I've had now. I've never been cut with a punch. Once I got cut with a punch in sparring, and that was 2 weeks ago with Darren Stubbs. I didn't do any sparring for it since then. I didn't tell Frank that, but
Well, we'll keep that one quiet.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, what's going to be next? There's been talk of moving up the WBO rankings and maybe a European title shot against Brian McGee.
I'd love to fight Brian McGee. I'm all the trash talking I've had of Tony Dodson. I'm not a bad talker. I don't badmouth people. I've got a lot of respect for fighters, and Brian McGee's one who I have got a lot of respect for. You know, I like him as a fighter. I think he's tough. I think he's good, but I do think I'd beat him. You know, so I'd love to fight with him. He's European champion, but he beat a man who was 37 and been very inactive to win the title and look good doing so. But I feel I've got to beat him at Brian McGee. You know, maybe have a little rest to get these cuts healed up. But that's a fight that I'd love to have, definitely, and also win the Lonsdale outright, which I'm very proud to hold.
You'd obviously love to have it here, but you'd be quite prepared to go to Belfast as well.
I'd go anywhere to fight. You know, it'd be great fighting on Frank's bills all the time. You know, it's good getting this support in the fan base I've got in Liverpool. It's starting to creep up slowly, you know, and we're getting a good camp. We're like Manchester about 6 years ago, you know, when the Hattons and all the young prospects started out. When I first turned pro, Liverpool's getting like that now with my brothers and Bellew and Selkirk and Paul Edwards and the likes of those.
Okay, lots to look forward to, Paul. We'll let you go and get cleaned up. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thanks very much.